Welcome to Coffee with Democrats, a sensible platform for progressive conversations. Coffee with Democrats is a grassroots movement dedicated to hearing from Democrats, candidates, legislators, and friends from all political backgrounds who want great conversations. Coffee with Democrats is committed to increase Democrat voter registration and Democrat voter turnout by making voting more exciting and meaningful. And now here's your host of Coffee with Democrats, Kevin Dawson.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Coffee Break on Coffee with Democrats. We've got a special guest with us today. He is somebody that I'm so excited. I want to introduce him, but before we introduce Marcus Jones, I really want to really show you something about him that is really impressive. So here we go. I'm going to pull up his website, and we're going to play something so you can see it on the screen here. Bear with me. I'm going to get the sound turned on here.
Design the flexible response to counter North Korean provocations? Get a coin. Deliver NATO's largest exercise since the Cold War? Get a coin. Here's what 29 years of problems looks like. I manage targeting in Baghdad and South Korea. I've got coins for things I can't even tell you about. Over there, we were fighting graft and corruption. Here in Arkansas, it's inflation and a system that beats up on working people. But the same folks suffer. Farmers, teachers, veterans, tradespeople, and women. Over here, they do it without firing a shot. Carrie and I moved our family 15 times, 29 years. I miss Razorback football and the Ozarks and time with our families. I was ready to sit still, but I saw things in war zones that I shouldn't be seeing here. Cruelty, chaos, corruption, civil war. Americans should be better to each other, and we should trust our congressmen to take on big challenges. Feels good when a leader hands you one of these, but I never got one that made any difference to my wife or my kids or my mom and dad, because it was always somebody else's problem, and somebody else's fight, and somebody else's country. But for me, it's always been about Arkansas. You face challenges every day, and Arkansans aren't looking for a token of gratitude. We're looking for a fair shot at opportunity, fair wages, health care that doesn't kill you financially, and a system that doesn't knock you down every time you get a little bit ahead. And Congress can either build that world or blow it up. A strong nation protects women's rights, and our lawmakers shouldn't be preachers or demagogues. They should be problem solvers. Trust me on this. Wherever you're from, that's your gateway to the world. This was mine. Prince Hill isn't a bad guy. He's just the wrong guy. Arkansas is the land of opportunity, and we shouldn't be stagnant. We should be gracious. We ought to be generous. We ought to be creative. We ought to be brave. I'm Marcus Jones, and I'm running for Congress.
Well, folks, you've seen it here, and I'll tell you what, I am so impressed with everything about Representative for the future of Arkansas, Marcus Jones. So I'm going to get us rearranged here a little bit, and then, but good morning and welcome to Coffee Break on Coffee with Democrats. It is a pure honor to know and meet you. I wish we were in person so I could shake your hand, but this is the best we can do for the circumstances. And thanks for joining us.
Hey, Kevin, thank you for having me. This is great. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk to your audience a little bit about our campaign. This is awesome.
Well, that's exactly what we want to do. We want to, you are kind of a prairie state, just like Oklahoma and the rest of the states that we are. So I'm gonna throw this your direction. Tell me a little bit more about what's going on in your part of the prairie.
Well, thank you. So real quick to give context, I'll quickly describe what our district looks like. We're somewhat unique, but not unique to so much that folks wouldn't understand. Obviously, the 2nd District is it's made up of about 3/4 of Pulaski County, which is, if you think Little Rock.
Right.
I say 3/4 because here in Arkansas, the state legislature did a fantastic job of gerrymandering this district to benefit my opponent. So in the last And the last time they redrew the lines, they cut about a quarter of the county out, and they split that between the 1st District, 1st Congressional District, which is really the delta of Arkansas, and the 4th, which is Southern Arkansas. So they did that, and I'll be very honest, to dilute minority voters in this district. And so what they did is about 3/4 of Pulaski County, and then the surrounding additional 7 counties. And they put Cleburne County in the north to replace that part that they cut out. And so our campaign is focused, like I said, we're interesting because we have both the municipal urban area of Little Rock and then a lot of rural area around it, kind of in a horseshoe shape around that. So we are very much a grassroots campaign. We are a volunteer-powered, people-powered campaign. And what we have focused a lot on is direct voter contact.
Right.
We made the commitment very early in this campaign that we would meet people where they were at, and we would be out and knock on doors. So we committed to 10,000. We're a little over 7,000 now, and we're well on track to get to that 10,000 way before the election. So I will tell you that I am, to describe our campaign, like I said, we're a little bit different. I spent an awful lot of time, almost 3 decades in the Army, and I planned a lot of strategy. That was my, by education and experience, that's what I did. And so when we took this on, we applied that same sort of logic to the district. And we took all the data that we could compile from previous elections and looked at that and really tried to focus on understanding the district, understanding what we were going to do. And what that told us in a couple of ways is we were able to identify places where folks should have turned out and just didn't.
Right.
And that allows us to focus our get out the vote effort into those locations. And then we also identified places where in past, some Democrats underperformed other Democrats. And that showed us our persuadable places for us to go to. And then taking that data, after we all made it through the primary, we reached out to the other Democrats on the tickets and on the ticket and said, look, we all have a common message. We're all going after the same voter.
That's right.
We're not gonna outraise, but we can surely outplan and outorganize our opponents. So we should work together. We should have, common messaging and synergistic efforts is what I tried to talk to them about. And so that allows us as a relatively small campaign to be in lots of places all at once. So when when my campaign or me are in one part of the district, we are talking up the state senator that's running, or the state representative, or the justice. That has been really beneficial. It's allowed us to be exponentially larger than we really are. So we've been very fortunate in that regard, and we're riding a lot of great momentum right now because of that.
Well, you bring up something about working together as candidates, and that's a very important thing that Democrats haven't really learned yet. There's a lot of people who still want to work in silos, and I'm trying to break those barriers down just like you. We've got to learn to work together, because guess what? At the end of the day, we're the ones that are going to be on the front lines that are working together to solve problems. We're going to have to reach across the aisle, and we're going to have to work with some of those people as well and have a coalition of partners that will work to solve the problems. Because guess who we work for? We work for we the people. We don't work for me the people. We work for we. And that means we need to be working together. And the best way to solve problems, if you want to see somebody get knocked down in a hurry, they're the ones that are working by themselves and don't involve other people. And that's what I love about your campaign. And that is so important. So I'm going to, throw it back your direction, because you've got more to talk about, but I wanted to give you a little bit of a moment there to get a little sip, get ready to go. And
like coffee with Democrats.
That's right. Have some coffee, and let's keep moving forward. So I'm going to throw it your way.
Yeah. So, I mean, your point is spot on. We have a phrase in the Army that if if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. And that's really how we have tried to approach this. And you are also 100% right about your point that, what people are looking for, what Arkansans especially, I will tell you, are looking for is someone that is willing to find bipartisan solutions.
Absolutely.
We have found, and like I said, we talk to literally hundreds of people a week, and we do it standing on their doorstep. We do it in their coffee shop. We do it, at their county fair. And what they tell us, and this has been borne out by some recent polling, I think, what they tell us is that they are tired of extremism in all forms. They are looking for representatives that are willing to work across the aisle to find reasonable solutions. People understand that, we are gridlocked right now because we're so polarized. And they are very willing, especially here in the 2nd District, to hear somebody that is ready to, work with their neighbor, work with the other party for solutions that affect their everyday lives. So I mentioned polling a second ago. Recently, the Hendrix College here in Arkansas and Talk Business Politics, which is a production company and a media company, they put out a poll. It wasn't focused on congressional districts, but it was focused on both our state level and the approval disapproval of our governor, and it was very focused on the presidential race. And in the 2nd District, in particular, Vice President Harris leads former President Trump by about 5 points. That is incredibly encouraging.
It is, yeah.
We see that. It doesn't directly talk about this congressional campaign, but it talks about how people feel about what we could do and what the 2nd District looks like. The other thing that's really interesting is that our Republican governor, it identifies a 52% disapproval rate,
right,
for her, and so we can infer from those two things that in the 2nd District, Democrats poll strong, and we are encouraged by that. It's been really exciting, and we're building on that momentum. So this has been, and we continue to build on that momentum. So this has been great. It's been great news for us, and it's really energized a lot of people that are hearing now in a scientific way what we've been hearing on people's front porches for a long time.
And the divisiveness that's going on over in Arkansas really centers around Governor Huckabee and two policies that she has. Number one is education. Yes. She's trying to dismantle public education. I think, Jonesboro, one of the largest public school districts, was taken over recently by the state. Yeah. And one of the school districts down there. And the other one is women's health care. And she, she's wanting to acquiesce women's health care completely and take it away from them. And so, I'm going to throw it back to you again, but, you're hitting everything on all 8 cylinders. If we have an 8-cylinder engine anyway, you're hitting on everything. So, I'm enjoying the conversation, but I really need to let you talk more because you're doing such a great job.
Well, thank you. So those two subjects, those are both things that are near and dear to my heart. And I say that from the standpoint of, I want us to thrive. I want Central Arkansas to thrive. And we're not going to be able to do that if we have not provided a quality education, a quality public education, right, which we're talking about a little bit ago when here in the state, and it's a state issue, but in everything flows dollar-wise from the House of Representatives, and that's why it matters so much to me, and why it is, while it's a state issue, it has a significant federal influence on it. Here in the state, if people are not familiar, we have established, I say we, the state of Arkansas, not all the people in the state of Arkansas, have established what's called the LEARNS Act. Right. And that provides vouchers. It takes money out of public schools. It provides vouchers to go to private schools. The larger issue is that those private schools, based on the rules that we have here in the state, are not held to the same standards or the same requirements for the curriculum that they teach. That's the first issue. The second is often that money that's being taken out of schools is coming out of Title I, already underfunded, underserved public schools. Right. And the other thing that we found in the first couple of years of this program is that it is paying tuition for students that were already attending private school. So 5% of students roughly in Arkansas attend private school. 95% go to public school, and it's pulling money away from those 95% to pay for people that were already sending their kids to private school. And so it's a big issue. It's a significant issue, and it is quite frankly destroying our public education system. That is the one issue. The other issue, and that you talked about, is women's reproductive health. We have the highest maternal and mortality rate in the country. We have a law here in the state that bans abortion. It has no exceptions for instances of rape, incest, fatal fetal anomaly, or for the life of the mother. This is a very dangerous place for women to be pregnant.
Right.
They're denied the care that they need. Many cases, life-saving care that they need. And so those are issues that are incredibly important to us. We have seen, and I will tell you straight up, we see this election being decided by women because women are stepping forward and they're concerned about their own health and their own bodies, their own autonomy. We shouldn't have a place where my daughter that's a sophomore in college has less rights to her own body than my mother, who is almost 80 years old, did when she was the same age. It's ridiculous.
And how people can help you. That's probably one of the biggest things is, you can't run this campaign by yourself. Campaigns are run on money, and they're run on volunteers, and they're run on a lot of things that, you have to center yourself around a huge team of people. So let's talk about that for just a few minutes as well.
Absolutely. So if people are in Arkansas, obviously what they can do is volunteer and donate. People outside of Arkansas or in, I'll say this, I'm told that this is beginning to be pumpkin spice latte season. Everybody just takes what you would have spent on a pumpkin spice latte and donates it. And our link's there on the screen. It donates to us. That helps us out. Like I said, we are a grassroots, volunteer-oriented organization. So every little bit that we get keeps folks in the field. It gets the material that they're giving out, talking about, educating voters with. We're absolutely, we absolutely need that. And I know my campaign would kill me if I didn't first say donate. Second thing is that we are a volunteer-powered organization. We have hundreds of people who have stepped in, and they are our front line. And they're everywhere across this district. And so our website, you see there, has opportunities for people to donate. And whether that's canvassing, whether that is phone banking, filling out postcards. In some cases, it's driving folks to do that canvassing. In other cases, it's working a table at a county fair, or yesterday at the Little Rock Food Truck Festival, which was fantastic. We're trying to be everywhere to get that word out. So obviously donating, volunteering, we have a lot of opportunities coming up for people to do those things. We are very, very focused in trying to get people working with organizations to get people registered to vote. We see that as key to make this happen. And so even tomorrow we have a voter registration at one of the colleges, Hendrix College. It's here in the district over in Conway in Faulkner County. And so we're doing that. We're working with organizations from across the state to try to do that. And we're working with community leaders to get folks into their communities, into those precincts I talked about that, maybe they voted, but they only had 18, 20, 22% of people in out. We're really focused in getting them to participate because this election is so important.
So as we wrap down or bring on this conversation and end it, one thing I'm going to tell folks who are listening here, if you want to know how to be a candidate, listen to this man. He has got it. He understands it. You have to do your research. You have to figure out, but you have to be able to articulate that research. And I love the way that he's been able to do that all the way through this conversation. And this has been quick. This has been a very fast-paced conversation. And he's given his elevator speech immediately, and he understood exactly what I need to do. it's going to be my honor and privilege now to say that we're endorsing and we're going to do everything we can to help Mark Jones in his campaign, because, you know, we don't need to have just a one and done conversation. We need to get this message out to as many people and do it as often as possible. So we're going to do another one of these follow-ups closer to the election. But folks, this is a candidate we got to get behind. If we're going to have any kind of positive impact in our national House of Representatives, we've got to have people like Marcus who are going to be there to work for we the people. Marcus, I am just absolutely impressed. One of the things we're going to talk about is the enthusiasm. I'm just going to tell you what I'm seeing right outside my window. I'm at the Cleveland County Democratic office in Norman, Oklahoma, and I'm watching people. Just in our conversation, the last 20 minutes, we've had about 10 people show up looking for signs, looking for ways that they can help Democrats within our state. And I can tell you from everything I'm learning all over, like up in Northwest Arkansas, around where the Arkansas University is, Fayetteville area, their volunteers are going crazy because they've got so many people support. Little Rock area is getting a lot of support. I hope you're getting the same impact and benefiting from that excitement that we're seeing all over the nation after the Democratic convention that we had in Chicago.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I will tell you, like I said before, women have become incredibly, because they know what's on the vote.
Yeah.
What we have seen coming out of the convention, just like you mentioned, we have an amazing number of volunteers and amazing excitement amongst young voters. I think with Vice President Harris on the ticket, that is energized young voters.
Absolutely.
Feel that energy. And with women, especially here in Arkansas, we've had, women's reproductive health was a ballot initiative that got the number of votes, the number of signatures it needed, and it was denied over a technicality.
Right.
So there are hundreds of thousands of young people and women that see this election and understand it for what it is. It is their rights that are on the ballot this time. And we
absolutely
harness that. It's a fantastic feeling with them, and to feel that movement happen.
Well, man, it's such a privilege and honor to have you on Coffee Break on Coffee with Democrats today. Folks, I'm just going to say this one last time. If you're not supporting and getting behind Marcus, you're losing out. We have got to get the excitement up. We've got to, and this is just like a race. We're not going to stop short of the finish line and say, oh, it's okay, like we did back in 2016. We got to run this thing all the way through the finish line. We got to be ready to go, and we've got to be able to finish this thing. We can't stop now. It's never stop. It's like Winston Churchill said, we will never surrender. Never, never, never. So we've got to never surrender. We've got to keep marching forward, and we've got to win this thing. And the best people that we have to do this is Marcus in Central Arkansas. Thanks so much for joining us on Coffee Break with Coffee with Democrats. You're a great candidate. I'm really looking forward to spending more time and getting to know you and your campaign more. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, Kevin, thank you so much. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you so much for this and energizing people. This is fantastic. So I really appreciate the chance to do it.
Well, it's our honor. And thank you very much for those kind words. Everybody, until tomorrow, we've got a great show again tomorrow. We got the minority leader for the House of Representatives in Oklahoma, Cindy Munson, is going to be on here with us tomorrow. It's going to be an exciting show at 10 a.m. So come back and join us tomorrow. And because, again, we've got to continue to do this every single day from now to the election. So I appreciate everybody who has come on and watched this show, and share this with as many people as you can so that we can get this message out to as many people as we can. Thanks for joining us today. And until tomorrow, everybody, please be safe.